Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today, ThriveinEdu with Rachelle and Mel on Monday. How are you doing today, Rachelle?
As always, I'm doing great, but I think I feel so strange right now because I didn't recognize you without the big unicorn head. It's a little bit different now, but I've been looking forward to talking to you all day and catching up, and of course with our guest today. So I'm good. I didn't actually realize that it was Monday. I keep going back and forth thinking, wait, is it Monday? Is it Tuesday? I think it's Monday. The only way I keep straight, two of the days a week I know, Mondays and Fridays, because we meet up. And so, yeah, but I'm good. How about you?
I know. I was in Anchorage. I told you we had to do our physical. So like I hadn't eaten or had coffee or anything. And I was rushing, like trying to get here on time. And I like our new time. If you want to change it, we're at 5 o'clock Eastern. Let me know. I like this time. All right. Facebook user says, hello, friends. Happy end of Monday.
Okay. Is it Erin? Is it Jillian? Who else? Could it be Corey?
I don't know, but if it's Jillian, congratulations on her new book. And speaking of books, our guest today is actually part of the EduMatch family. Do you want to introduce him or tell a little bit about him, Rachelle?
Well, I met Toutoule years ago through EduMatch, and so we've become friends, and he's very supportive. He contributed some stories to my first book, which I would love to share that story and how that came to be. But I'm excited to have him here today. So thank you for joining us.
Hey, Toutoule.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Rachelle. You know, I'm a big fan of Rachelle's. I met her for the first time in EST in San Antonio, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we hung out in EST in San Antonio, and we've been kind of shooting the breeze ever since. And she asked me to come on, and I was like, for good people that I know and like, why not?
Well, I'm thankful. And a couple of weeks ago, finally, and Melody, I think you saw it, that Justin and Toutoule and I, finally, after 3 years of talking about the spin the wheel of topics for education, we did that. That was fun. That was a lot of fun, and I appreciated that. And we have a part 2 that'll be coming up at some point here. We have to schedule, so stay tuned.
Awesome. I love how irreverent it was. It was just right up my alley.
That was Justin. I lost control of the wheel. He took it over. Yeah, we didn't know it was coming.
She gave control to Justin, and that was it. It was over.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Natoya, tell us a little bit about yourself for those of us who aren't as familiar with your work.
Well, hello, everyone. Dr. Toutoule Ntoya here, and I am an educator. I am an entrepreneur, and I am all things STEAM. I love STEAM integration, design thinking, all of those things. I got my doctoral degree at USC, and I learned about design thinking, and I learned about maker spaces, and I learned about how STEAM could be integrated using these methods. And ever since then, it's just changed my whole outlook on education, from how we approach challenges, how we approach curriculum, the kind of things we should be thinking about. So whenever I think about a problem in any educational scenario, I always think about it in terms of, well, let's do a design thinking, let's get our design thinking hat on, and let's find a way to come up with solutions for it. So I've been doing a lot of consulting, working with schools on creating their maker spaces, working on schools to create their STEAM programs, integrating STEAM in other classes, 3D printing, all that stuff. So it's been really amazing, and just the impact that I'm seeing in classrooms and with students, and those students who don't necessarily contribute in classes but can contribute in this STEAM space has been amazing for me.
Wow, that's really cool. And speaking of all the hats that you wear, I heard you have like a special hat today. Wow. Woo, congratulations to your
team.
Now,
I wanted to wear the hat normally, but it's causing this big shadow on my face. You guys can't see the sexy under here. So I just want to give the LA Dodgers a shout out. It's been 30 something years. 1988 was the last time we won. Illustrious franchise. We got one this year along with my Lakers. I wish I had a Laker hat to like switch it back and forth, but I don't. But my Lakers, Dodgers, let's go.
So cool.
Very nice.
I don't know. We keep it on. No, I'll take it.
You do whatever you want.
That's right.
Whatever you feel happy about. It's all good. That's really cool about the STEAM connection. Both you and Rachelle, we were just talking about STEAM. What does that look like in the virtual world?
You know, it's interesting. I don't know, but that's the beauty of design thinking, right? Like, what does it look like? How do you put this into place? What does it look like, you know, in Rochelle's part of the country where it's about to be cold and freezing? And what does it look like in my part of the country where it's going to stay warm until who knows when? And how do we use our outdoor space? I'm actually working with Stacy Lovedoll. I think both of you guys may know Stacy. But we're
Yeah.
working on kind of this backyard science thing we started a few years back, but we thought we'd dust it off and try it again, especially in the space. And I've just been working with my son on just stuff in the backyard, and he's really interested in water flow. What does water flow look like? So we've been working on that, and we're going to do a planting challenge. We're going to plant something, a cold winter crop, and we're going to see what it looks like in North Carolina and what it looks like in LA, and be able to share that information and get something like that design challenge, put some standards to it, and then just figure out what we get. And I think that's the beauty of where we're at right now. A lot of us aren't really comfortable being in this limbo space, but that's where my design thinking hat comes in. Like, we don't know what the outcome is going to be. Let's be scientific about it. Let's put some stuff into place, and let's get some information, get some data, and then constantly iterate. And I've been doing that with a few teachers, and we've been getting some pretty interesting results, and some learnings along the line. So I think the sky's the limit. I think there's no right answer, but it's limitless what we can do right now.
I love that. That's awesome. Like thinking of just to see, would you say North Carolina and you? Because is that Stacy? Is that what you said?
Stacy, yeah.
Yeah. And I do always forget about the STEAM connection with us, but I know that a couple of years ago when I was having problems with student engagement that I kept reaching out. I was like, what am I not doing? I need ideas and you're giving me ideas and they're not working. Well, the problem with me, I totally didn't understand what student engagement meant. So that was the first mistake. And I couldn't do anything about it until I understood more about it. But yeah, I'll need to come to you for some ideas for my own STEAM class.
Yeah, and those conversations are great because, I mean, you know, STEAM is hot. Everyone wants to do STEAM, have STEAM programs, but you do run into problems. There's engagement problems, there's management problems. If you don't have the proper culture, what does that look like? You know, a lot of us like to have our curriculum in a nice, tidy bow and have everything laid out. And design thinking doesn't really work that way. You know, it's messy. There's a lot of moving parts, but at the very end of it, we have a. My son doesn't care. He doesn't care. I could be talking. I could be talking to Barack Obama right now, and he would not care one bit. So,
You're so cute, and you were just going with it. I thought that was pretty incredible.
yeah, distant learning. I've learned a lot. So, yeah, it's not straightforward. And the thing that I'm really appreciating about it is you don't know what the end is going to be. You don't know what the end of the process is going to be. You have to be okay with whatever happens. And even if it's that one student who is going to be like your star for the day, that's what it is. If it's, you know, maybe all of my students got something specific that I want them to get, that's what you get. But you have to be like, you know, just dive into the process and be okay with what the process spits out. And at the end of it, you're going to find some really cool things that you're going to uncover from your students.
Okay, I feel like that is exactly how schools should just be set up, period. Like, we need to be like, when you're talking like that, it just makes me think like, number one, that's what the world needs right now, people that think like that. And we're so locked into what we've always done that we're not even able to iterate like you were saying. Number two, we have a whole generation of kids that are just losing out because just school doesn't even seem what is the word, relevant? Yeah, relevant.
Relevant.
It doesn't
Relevant.
even seem right. Like, I don't know what the word, sometimes the words don't come out right, seriously. But I mean, if we if I could make my own school, that's how it would be. It'd be set up the STEAM, and it would look like that. It wouldn't be about grade levels. It would just be about, I mean, of course I'm thinking of utopia, but I don't know, it just sounds amazing. I love it.
I know when he talks about it, it sure does.
Yeah, and then I love talking to Rachelle because Rachelle has such a different perspective, and she's like living it, and she has these different experiences that she's interacting with, and I'm having different experiences, and we're able to just kind of compare notes And that's the beauty of it, right? Just compare notes, gather data, think scientifically, and then go back and let's try something new. And we just keep doing it until something comes of it. So, there's so many of us doing the work out here, and it's just really important that we just continue to talk. We just continue to talk about best practices, share best practices, and look to impact kids in real ways.
Definitely. Rachelle, what does it look like virtually with you and your class, your STEAM class?
It's interesting because a lot of the things, I mean, the beginning of the year, it's STEAM, it's what's next emerging technology. And so primarily the things we cover are emerging trends, emerging technology. But I spent a lot of time talking about digital citizenship and social media and cyberbullying and media literacy and a lot of topics. So I ended up shifting a lot of that content this year just because we were starting virtual. And it's kind of tough sometimes because when I look at like augmented virtual reality with my students and having them create, they don't all necessarily have the same iPad or whatever device that they need for it. Whereas when we're in school, I could take them to the library or I can bring out the other devices for them to use. And so that's a consideration. So I've kind of been flip-flopping a lot of things around and just trying to think of new ideas that I can do that don't require a ton of screen time because we're on the screen so much. And some days I feel like, wow, that was just terrible what I did. Like I could have done that so much better. And some days I feel like, yeah, that was really great. And I can't wait to see what they create. And I think that's part of just the exhaustion or the frustration of like not being able to do it the way that you've either always done it or the way that you have in mind that you think it's the best way to do it. And so fighting those inner battles sometimes I think it can be hard where you just have to realize, at least I'm trying to realize like, yeah, that didn't go the way that I thought it would, but this is not the ideal situation. And so what can I do to change it? And I often get that opportunity because I have two different groups. And so if I do it, the first group, days 1, 2, 3, and I think, wow, when I do this with the other group, I'll try it this way. And then I can look at both and decide, wow, those were two terrible ideas. Or I can see like, yeah, this little tweak made a difference. And sometimes it's not necessarily what I did, it's just the kids and their response to it. Because like Toutoule was saying, you might just reach that one kid. There have been years where everything that I've tried for certain students are just like, yep, nope, not this. And then the one thing, and it's like, that's what sparks that curiosity, that interest. And you think, wow, it only took 7 months to get to this point. But the point is you got to that point because you gave choices. And so it's different for every kid. But I'm sorry. I just gave you like a really long answer.
Don't be sorry. I'm listening. I love it. I think Dr. Toutoule does too, right?
It's fantastic. I can talk about this all day.
I know we could, right?
Go ahead. I'm listening. I love it. I need to be better. I feel like my need to control, like I do feel since I'm schooling at home this year, I do feel more relaxed, but I still feel at times that I need to control things. And that control really interferes with my kids' learning, period.
Yeah, that control, I mean, we were taught. I remember in my teacher ed program when I first started teaching, you have to control your class. You have to make sure that the kids know what's happening every second of the day. When they're in with you, every second has to be accounted for. You don't want to miss out on time. And I remember instructional minutes. If you miss 1 minute a day, for the whole year, you've missed X amount of, right? All these different things. So like we were hyper vigilant on being in, controlling that time and being very consistent on that, when I don't know how that's really helped a lot of our students, and being able to be perceive control. Yeah. Being able to
Definitely perceive
loose a little bit. And, I'm also thinking with my son, now that he's in school, what piece of the schooling can kids kind of manage on their own, and what piece of it do they depend on us? And once we step away, they don't know what to do. Then we get mad at them and say, hey, why couldn't you do this simple experiment? And they've never had to do it alone. Why can't you do this simple? They've never had to they've always had somebody set this time up for them. And now I was just talking to a friend of mine today on Voxer, how, kids need to be like self-regulated now more than ever, but they've never had to be, right? The teacher always sets up the environment for them. When we need it quiet, we set up the quiet time. We need, time for reading. We set up that reading time. When it's time to talk, we set that up. But now when we have kids in a space, there's distraction around them. They don't know how to find somewhere quiet, or this is going to be my space when we're reading. This will be my space when I need some quiet. This is my space when I'm writing. Everywhere it becomes my space. And if I have siblings next to me and they're yelling and screaming, I'm distracted. So like, especially now, how do we help our kids just say to themselves, this isn't conducive. Maybe I should go in my room. There's a corner here I can go to. Maybe I should put on my headphones right now. Maybe I should, turn the TV off, right? Those are all things that kids need to regulate on their own, but I'm not sure if they have the skills and they've never had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I love all that you're saying. And Eric, I want to say hello to you. Thank you for watching. And Dr. Desiree, thank you for joining us. She says this is a great discussion. And yes, it is a great discussion. I'm all ears. Mm-hmm. So do you, and I, even I would say that my kids find it very distracting too. So I have 5 kids and I know that kind of blows your mind. But I mean, it is true. Like but I feel like even though it gets a little bit loud here, I still feel like we're quieter here than it is in a regular classroom. So I tell my kids, like, what do you mean you're distracted? Like it's way noisier in a classroom. But it's true. I mean, they don't necessarily have the skills yet. And mine are 6th grade and 6th grade to kindergarten. So they don't necessarily have those skills. Do you run into that same problem, Rachelle, with your students? Because they're older.
Yeah, sometimes. And that's one of the things, like with my 8th grade class, I noticed it a couple of years ago is we just assume sometimes that they have certain skills, or even just for adults. I mean, you might think that, well, you've been working in this area for X amount of years. So of course you probably know how to do a spreadsheet. And or as teachers, I mean, that's an example I throw out there because I had to do a spreadsheet when I was getting my master's. I'd never made one. I avoided them completely, and I had to. And that's actually what keeps me out of getting the second doctorate, is because I don't want to have to take 3 classes where I got to do spreadsheets. I will not. I can't do it. But people were surprised, and so students coming in to my STEAM class, I would ask questions about, sending files or doing a screenshot or anything like that. And there were some basic skills that I was surprised that they didn't have because of all the technology and things. So I do find that at varying levels, and that's just the same for us as adults too.
Yeah, and I wonder, when do teachers have time to teach those things? Like, we can do the best that we can to integrate it. Okay, let's have just the self-regulation conversation, but there's no real time in everything that we have to do to fit in. I'm just thinking, I was a high school science teacher, and I'm thinking about my chemistry class, and I knew I had to cover these 11 units. I didn't have time to do self-regulation activities. We had to jump in one topic after the other. I knew I had to finish stoichiometry and I had to get to gases before Christmas. All that's going in my head, and I don't necessarily have the time to sit and talk about self-regulation. But I'm wondering, how can we weave that into our curriculum? What does it look like to help kids think about where they're studying, especially right now in home? Think about who they're studying with, right? Those things are really important for self-regulation. How are you using your time? Just help them manage that and maybe somehow put that into our daily practice, because it's not going to happen. We're assuming kids have study skills, but I mean, where do they learn this stuff? They don't.
And I think that it used to be a part, I feel like growing up in the public school system, those were things that were part of my education, because by the time I got to college, I was very good at all of that. I was very good at self-regulating. I was very good at managing everything that I needed to. College was very easy for me because I had some pretty amazing teachers in the public school system. But at the same time, when I was going through school, probably when y'all were going through school too, it wasn't test everything. We were required to take notes. Nobody gave us notes. We took those notes. We were required to do so much more. Mm-hmm. The study buddies that we had, we chose our study buddies, and I don't know if there's just a difference in all of that. Someone said, I think this might be Dr. Desiree, don't take it on alone, get on with other teachers to see a global plan to do it, maybe. Mm-hmm. And she also said, teaching them how to learn and what is best for them. Yes.
Yeah. And, times are different. Just think about when we were growing up. Atari, television, right? Maybe MTV, right?
Maybe. I missed that.
I got everything. I've got everything right here. Plus, I've got my game console. Plus, I got some streaming device. Plus, my friends are texting me. I got TikTok. I got FaceTime. So, I mean, who has time to do school, right? Everything's right here. So we're competing with this,
That's true.
and I don't know if we're doing a great as job as this is. I think this is kind of beating us to the punch.
Right. It goes back to, and I said earlier, like, how do they see school as relevant to their lives? Oh yeah.
Yes.
Nintendo.
Yes. Oh, Nintendo. Blowing the cartridge. Remember that? Remember you guys? Did you guys
Yeah.
blowing into the cartridge like that did anything? I swear it did something. It did something.
It did. I did that with like VCR tapes, anything. You blow into the VCR, like just the dust. It's got to be the dust. I think it even came with a little brush at one point. I love to pull that stuff out in my STEAM class. Like walk in, I'm holding a rotary phone, or I got the Walkman on or something. Like, what is that?
Who is this? Who just said we are competing with the Fed now too?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I mean, students are kind of laying. I hear people saying that a lot. I mean, the cameras aren't on, or if they are on, you get this kind of angled view and you see the ceiling fan, or you can tell it's the headboard of a bed, and it doesn't feel like school. I mean, that's one thing, totally not related, but kind of related. Dress down days. I don't like to dress down, because when I wear jeans or something, first of all, it surprises everybody. They're like, oh my gosh, you have jeans. Okay, yes. But I feel too kind of relaxed, and I don't want to, it's not that I don't want to work, but I feel very, kind of chill. And
jeans. What's next? Netflix?
Wait, I've already been watching Netflix. I know, that's breaking news. Seriously.
I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you.
Well, if I'm watching Netflix, that means something else has shifted. So I'm not practicing the guitar, and I need to be practicing the guitar.
The guitar. So you got the guitar on top of everything else that you're doing?
Yeah.
My goodness.
And now Netflix.
And now Netflix.
But I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
What are when your students are talking, what are the shows that they're watching right now? And this is for anybody that's watching on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, wherever you are. Or just even if your students are talking, what are you guys watching on Netflix?
I finished The Blacklist.
You finished it?
Yeah, because I had already seen the first 5 seasons. So I just missed the last 3 years of TV. And I've been watching Designated Survivor with Kiefer Sutherland. And I really like those kind of shows, but there's no more than one show at a time. That's it. So I have other things on my list, and I keep getting notifications, but yeah, we'll see what comes up next.
Dr. Desiree says, I loved wearing jeans and being comfortable when teaching. Sometimes I think the more comfortable the teacher is, the better they teach. And I agree. And I think that you feel better, Rachelle, wearing, dress up clothes.
Yeah,
or not dress up clothes.
Yeah. I do. I don't know. I'm always comfortable in dresses.
I taught at a school. It was a charter school, and they made us all dress up. So all the teachers every day had to wear a shirt and tie. So I had to go to the store and buy shirts and ties every day, and shoes. And end of the day, my back was hurting. After that, and then I became an administrator, and the same thing. I had to be shirt and tied, and I got in trouble one time because I wore jeans and all this craziness. And after those 2 stints, I'm like, if I never have to wear a shirt and tie again, I am good. I am good. Graphic tees? Come on, man. All day.
I agree. I love him too. So I think this is Desiree. She loved Designated Survivor and The Blacklist. And what are you watching, Toutoule? Are you watching anything on Netflix?
Equal opportunity. I don't do Netflix as much. I'm catching up on Blackish.
Okay.
I missed that. And then we're watching the American Ninja Warrior. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Yep.
That's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm doing right now. I think I'm gonna I'm gonna try to pick up what is it called? The Office. Everyone says my phone.
I've never watched it. That's people.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying you need to watch it. The Office. So now, why not? As soon as I finish.
Wait a minute. Neither one of you have watched The Office?
I've seen Office Space.
Yeah, no, not the same thing.
I know.
Wow, that is crazy. You guys are gonna laugh. You should watch it. Yes, Blackish is funny. I agree.
Blackish.
It is.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. I feel like every time that we binge watch on Netflix, like I get into these shows and then they're over, and I always feel like like I just lost a friend.
I hate
Don't you
that.
feel empty? Like, what do I do? There's nothing to do now. You feel a little depressed for a little while. I feel you.
Desiree.
Dr. Desiree watches too much TV. Yes.
I don't know how she has time. I don't know how she has time.
No such thing as too much TV. Now, whoever this is, Office is Life.
It's Dr. Desiree.
Yeah.
Desiree, that's causing me to go out and get up and watch The Office even more now.
That's so
I might
funny.
start tonight.
It is funny. What is that guy, Steve Carell? He is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love him. I love everything he's in, almost everything he's in, but he's just such an awful boss. He's so awful, but you love him. And then what is oh my gosh, the crazy guy, Rainn Wilson's character. He's hysterical too. Yes, it's a great. But the whole thing, they just play off each other, and it is just absolutely ridiculous the whole time. And obviously, if things were happening like that in real life, you know, things would be done. But yeah, but you guys are going to have fun. So we talked about our Netflix addictions or not Netflix addictions. We've talked about Nintendo. What is the end thing that everybody should be doing? I'm missing out. Like, you know, I'm so not in style. Is there anything that the kids are doing that we need to know? Dwight, yes. Or we could keep talking about The Office.
Well, then I'd have to listen to you guys. They haven't watched it yet. I just know that
Melody would be talking to herself because I wouldn't have anything to add.
And would you shake me and Rachelle just shake our heads?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I want to hear about your guys' favorite character, Dwight Schrute. That's hysterical. I didn't know his last name. Y'all, he's so funny. It's awesome.
So Rachelle, looks like we're gonna have to get into our Office game.
I guess so.
I'm throwing the gauntlet down. We're starting the Office. I'm gonna start it tonight.
Yeah,
tonight.
I don't know if I can do that. I got a couple of chats tonight. I got to fit in a nap. It's already dark.
What chats are you going to be into
tonight? Formative chat. Yeah, formative chats on Monday nights.
She's always got something going on.
I do.
She's always got chat. She's like a chatter. She's a chatterbox.
So Melody, I have an office question for you.
Sure.
I'm totally derailing your conversation.
You're fine. It's just conversation.
How should I start with The Office? Should I start season 1 and go all the way through? Should I skip season 1 and do like the British version and then jump on season 2? Or I
don't even know about the Britain version or whatever, but I'm telling you, I would start with season 1. I think you will laugh hysterical, hysterical, and you won't be disappointed. It does, and it's not the kind of humor that we regularly see. And the funny thing about it is that, you know, like it's all like reality television, because when it began, reality television was still kind of new. Or was it new? Or was it just becoming really, really popular? I don't know, because it's been a long time. But I think you'll start with season 1. This might be Dr. Desiree. She says the first season is only 6 episodes or so. They're classic, but they changed the show after that. And that's true. That is true.
6 episodes? I could knock that out.
Yeah.
Rachelle, how long are they? 30 minutes?
They're probably 22 just because of commercials.
22 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, it says the British version is the season 1 of.
Yeah, I don't know if Desiree was saying it on, Dr. Desiree was saying it on, I don't know where I saw it, but they said, yeah, season 1 is the same as the British version. So, I mean, they have accents and everything.
Version. What?
Like in the British version has the accents, I'm saying. So I might add a little something to it, but I'm going to do it. Season 1, The Office. Let's go.
Yeah, awesome. And so are you going to be in any chats this week too, Dr. Toutoule?
No, it's all good. I'm not going to be in any chats. The funny thing about chats is someone had a chat last week and I put it on my phone and I missed it. So I always seem to either fall into a chat or miss a chat. It's never like, unless I'm running the chat. If I'm running the chat, it's all good. But if somebody else is running it, man, I don't know what it is. So no, as of right now, no. It's terrible.
I'm the same way. I don't really get into Twitter chats like I used to. I really loved them when they first came out, but I don't really like Twitter chats as much. Unless I have to like be the moderator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, season 1 takes the exact same scripts and redoes them. Okay, cool. Awesome. Good to know. So if you're not going to do a Twitter chat, if you're not going to be in forum chat, then you should be catching up on the British version, season 1 of the office. So yes. And we're about done with our time. And it's been super fun having Dr. Toutoule Ntoya on with us today. And he is part of our EduMatch family. Do either of you have any last thoughts before we go off today?
My last thought is this is a very trying time, but we have never had. I was talking to a friend of mine. He's like in his 60s and he's been in education for a while. He said there has never been this much disruption in education his whole lifetime. So disruption hurts. Disruption doesn't feel normal. Disruption, kind of rubs you the wrong way sometimes. But when you get to the other side of it, it's going to be amazing. So I just want everyone to like take the situation for what it is and just know everything that we're doing right now is going to be totally different. So we have to embrace it and we have to make the best out of it. And then we have to like make it better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through this whole year, just whatever you're doing right now, just iterate and make it better. So you can look back and, whenever your school ends in May, June, April, whatever, you can look back at this time and say, wow, it was so different than what I am now. I've learned so much and I can't go back. That's my secret wish, that we can say, you know what, we've learned so much, I can't go back.
I love that. I love it. Excuse me, I just burped. I love that. I don't want to go back.
It's way over here. Oh.
No, I fasted so hard today. I had the Pepsi. I haven't had coffee. I was a raging lunatic. I've been biting everybody's heads off. So I've been sucking down this Pepsi like nobody's business. I love that. I don't think we should go back either. Like I feel like we should stop trying to do the same that we have. That we should stop trying to make it the same that school was. We can't. We're in a pandemic. we just can't. But what are your last words, Rachelle?
I don't know what I could follow up with. I didn't want to follow him, but then you threw in the other comment, and then all I could think of is I wish that Toutoule was still eating his sandwich like he was eating before we went on, because that would have just been an extra something special for us.
It was so good.
No, but I agree with what he said. Although whenever he said to May or June, I thought that is so far away. But what's so scary is just how fast this past year has gone.
Yes.
And how different things were. So is it challenging? Yes. Exhausting? Stressful? Definitely. But every day is a new chance to do something different and better. And so that's all I've got.
Yeah. Hey, that's all any of us got. We got each other. Dr. Desiree, thank you so much for watching. Chris, was it Chris that was watching us? Thank you, everybody.
Mom, Desiree!
Whether you were tuning in on Facebook or Twitter, we appreciate you so much. We'll see you at Thrive O'Clock on Friday. Bye, everybody.
Bye.